What's going on? What's going on? I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. Hope all is well. Before I get started, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate your support. This particular topic is actually episode 207. And this particular topic, which you will find quite interesting, I know I am, it's called surface level. Surface level. And there's a reason why I wanted to do this particular topic. As always, there's always a method to my madness, but I'm often reminded about things that are on surface and what we think when we say surface, right? We never think about the depths of anything. And I find myself quite interested in that because I was always raised to think about everything has a depth to it, right? You can have a surface conversation with someone and leave it at that, but not really understanding that in life situations and circumstances all have depth. They all do, right? So we need to stop viewing, everything on surface and start really looking at the depths and the levels of the situation that we find ourselves in. And that goes even to the point of reference of being good at something versus being great at something, working hard at something versus not working hard at something, right? So again, because we may look at things on the surface level and not realize there's depths behind everything, everything has these different levels to it, we miss out. So I'm going to pivot this into your greatness. Not being good, but your greatness. The levels to your greatness. I want to pivot into that because I know for sure once we start to understand there's levels to everything, but on top of that surface level, there's the depth underneath it. I want you to pivot into thinking about your greatness. And I mean that from every sense of the word, and it doesn't matter what your occupation is. I want you to stop thinking on surface level, I'm here and I'm just on surface, I'm good. I just got a raise at my job, I'm okay. From the surface perspective, I'm doing good. Nah, I want you to think, look at the depths underneath that surface level, okay? Let's start thinking about on surface, I'm here. Underneath that, what's the underlining driven factor that's going to make you might be a supervisor, but you may want to be, a director. Okay. You might become the director and on surface you're good, but underneath that, there's a burning desire to become the branch CEO. Okay. So on surface, you're seeing one thing, but underneath that depth, underneath the surface, there's a burning desire to be great. There's a burning desire to want more. There's a burning desire. You see where I'm going with this? On surface, it seems one thing, but underneath that is really where things get to percolating. That's when things get to popping. We have to start thinking that way with everything. Circumstances and situations are exactly what they are. It's the things underneath those situations and circumstances that we need to pay attention to. Conversations on surface is one thing. What's underneath that? It's as simple as saying to someone, again, we're going to pivot. It's as easy as saying to someone, I don't like you. Okay, surface. There's an underlining reason, right? There's a depth underneath that surface reason as to why you may not like a person or why a person may not like you. It's not just surface. There's something underneath that. Once we start to figure that out, once we start to really move in its proper direction to understand that concept, surface is here, depth is here. It's the underlining piece that's more important, not the surface. It's underneath that's more important. Once we really understand that, there's so many different things that you will start to think about a little bit differently. And there's so many different things that, from a comprehension standpoint, it will start to answer a lot of questions. And I'm gonna go back to that this last analogy about if someone say, you may not like a person may not like you. And to a certain degree, you may think, I wonder why. You may or may not, but I'm just saying for the sake of this conversation, you may think, what's the depth or the reason underneath the surface of this person not liking me? If you can flip that around and start to use that information and that knowledge of surface and depth perception to your advantage, oof, powerful. Knowledge is king. It's powerful. That's some real powerful knowledge to understand. And I thank God again, because I was raised that way. My mom was into this whole thing about always think before you react. There's levels to it. Don't just react on emotion or try not to react and there's a surface thing. There's reasons and there's levels and there's depths to why you're doing what you're doing. There's levels and there's depths to why you're saying. There's levels and there's depth to why you're reacting the way you're reacting. All of it. Here's the key. The truth of the matter is, it's really taking some stock and accountability in yourself. Finding the depths that's in yourself to figure out why you think a certain way, why you react a certain way, why you talk a certain way, why your perspective is a certain way. There is a surface, and then there's the depth underneath that surface that will allow you, if you are holding yourself accountable for all the things I just mentioned above, it helps you to become a better thinker, a more conscientious thinker, someone that really understands, someone that can comprehend, someone that can really move different things around in their head quickly. And it helps you to navigate a lot of different situations and circumstances in a positive and more productive way. When you could understand self-analysis, when you could understand that, and while everybody's on surface, you're already thinking about the depths of every situation, of all the circumstances, and you don't always have to say it. You know that people are here, they're on surface. Well, your depth perception of how you're breaking that information down, it puts you light years ahead of a lot of different people who don't think that way. Puts you light years ahead of a lot of people who don't think that way. So that's the difference between surface conversation and then understanding depth within that surface conversation. No matter what the circumstances are, you can use this with anything. Everything has depth to it. Everything has levels to it. It's not just surface. So once you figure that out, you make it work for you. You make it become a beneficial tool for you to use. It's just about understanding it. That's all. Self-accountability, really understanding it, and then moving and being productive, with this little tool. It's really what it's all about. So I would like to say, for the most part, you being good at something versus you being great at something is going to be all up to you. And it has nothing to do with surface, because on surface, you will stay right here. What's underneath that to push you here is your burning desire to be successful. Always know that. There's always something burning underneath that surface that's going to make you successful, or you'll be content with just being average. Or unfortunately, some people will fail because they don't understand that. And I don't want that to be the case. So let's always understand what the depths are. what those levels are, and how we can use that to push us to be as great as we need to be and want to be in any given circumstance. Doesn't matter what the occupation. Be great because you can be. I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. I'll see you next week. Take care.